Welcome to Chalk Talk. I'm Andy Billman. Robert's there. Jeffrey from the Cleveland Pulse there too. We're going to talk about all sorts of topics about the three teams in various ways. If you want to go for preview, go to Chalk Talk. In the last video, we preview the Steelers. We preview all sorts of betting and blah, 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 blah. Browns are playing the Steelers this week, but we're going to talk about the ahead, the future. In 2025, gentlemen, I'll lead off with the Pulse. Where's the hope? We get through this season and we're about ready to get in the draft and we're at Fairview Tavern and we're getting drunk and we're doing shots. Where's the hope, Jeffrey? Is there any hope for the Browns after this tangled web of shit ends in 2024?
There is hope, Andy, because Stefanski, he has bounce back seasons. So this is what I'm looking at. And I want to go all the way out. All right. This is going to be controversial off the top.
Good.
I'll sequence it out for you, though.
I'm ready.
Off season, 1 year, $6.75 million contract to Jameis Winston. That's for your first step.
1.6. What was that number?
It's 1 year, 6.75.
Oh, six. Okay, that's a reasonable
6.75. Watson will be rostered. 100% in my mind. Watson will be rostered. They're not going to eat that. You're paying him to stay home.
Sure.
Look, you've had the worst vibes in the league the past, 24, 36 months. Now Winston is here, and people who are Steelers fans come up to me in Western Pennsylvania say, that primetime game with Jameis was a lot of fun. I know, it is fun. Didn't win, but it's a lot of fun. 1 year for Jameis. Make sure that Watson stays home. He can do what he wants, plays on his Xbox. I don't care. That figures out the quarterback room for now.
Just like that.
Go and then here's an extension. Here's a bridge. Go to Stefanski. You're gonna lock Andrew Berry in a dark room by himself. If you're the Haslams, I'm going to Stefanski. Who is your top guy? Is it Ward? Is it Milroe? Is it Ewers? Is it Shadur Sanders? Whoever he wants. Try your hardest in a reasonable manner to draft that guy.
Mm-hmm.
He sits for all 17 games next year. I do not care if we're 0-11. If we're having a down year, the calling for the backup and the rookie and the fresh new thing is going to be astounding. You're sitting them on the bench all year long. Hopefully you win 7, 8, or 9 games with the fourth place schedule next year.
That'll be fun.
And then you go on with your life. Maybe you contend for a playoff spot. 26, you get into it.
You go on with your life.
Correct.
Well, as Robert figures out his headphones real quick, I'm just going to go back to this. I do not know what to do with Stefanski. I think it's very complicated.
Keep him.
I would
absolutely keep him.
I know you guys are on to keep him. I'm on the fence. I think it's very complicated. The quarterback situation, I've now grown, and Robert was the first one who showed me the water through the desert. And I think Winston could be a bridge quarterback, so I'm not naive. I'm not going to go crazy there. The thing about the Browns that I do think is important is to be less analytical and more football regimented. I understand what Jeffrey is saying. I kind of like that. I would put D. Podesta on some sort of Milwaukee Bucks analytics binge. I think that'd be fun for him. He would enjoy that. And I think that's kind of where I come off on there. I agree to Winston take. I'm going to have to come back on 6 weeks with Stefanski. I just don't know yet. Rob, your thoughts? Where's the hope in 2025? And actually now I'm going to caveat as I give Rob one more second. I do see hope if you put Winston in Siberia, meaning you take him away from the team, you make sure he's not a part of the situation, and you really understand that this is about moving forward. Robert, where's the hope for the Browns 2025?
Well, I agree. I'm not sure with the number of 6.75 million. I hope that we can get him on that kind of discount. But to me, that doesn't matter. You got to pay him. You got to pay him. I'm also not sure if Cam Ward or Shador. I don't want anything to do with Shador. I love what Jeffrey said about locking Berry in a room and giving. I just don't know if anybody in 25 is Stefanski's guy. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you take the flyer in the later round. Maybe you take a guy. Take a guy in the later round, or maybe there's somebody out there.
I think he takes Stefanski back. It's long term. I'm not looking for you to win. I kind of know what Jeffrey's saying. And that's why I'm on the fence about Stefanski. I think Stefanski comes back, it kind of is 7-8 wins again. And the first round quarterback, whether you're taking Coach Prime's guy and Shedeur Sanders, or if you're taking someone else, I don't know. I will say you're going to have to do something at quarterback, because I unfortunately think DTR is now kind of gone off the pasture. He's also going to be going to Siberia soon and never coming back. So I do think you need to draft a quarterback somewhere. I still lean towards Shedeur Sanders. I understand Robert's plight with that because Coach Cram comes with some drama. So I understand that. Is anybody concerned about the defense next year?
Absolutely.
So here's the thing. Here's the dirty little the secret of the organization and the franchise that people put in the rearview mirror, and it doesn't really get talked about, but it's a sad reality. You mess around this next year. We're talking bridge next year like it's a foregone conclusion, because it absolutely is. Could you have some sort of Cinderella run and make a deep run in the playoffs? Maybe. Small percent chance, under 5%. The defense, Andy, concerns me because you have to move the chairs around and get different pieces in. But beyond that, Myles Garrett gets a year older. Denzel Ward gets a year older. JOK has a pretty scary injury this year. I mean, let's go down the list. Myles Garrett, age, 28 years old, December 29th, 95. He is turning 29 in 2 or 3 weeks here. Denzel, I believe, is around the same age. He's 27.
A year younger.
When's his birthday? April 28th. So he's getting ready to turn 28. I mean, how many elite edge rushers play at a high level into their 30s? Well, that's my concern with the defense next year.
Yeah, I mean, Ogbo, do you get excited about him?
Who?
Yep. Do you get excited about Shelby Harris, Mike Call, the defensive tackles with no names that don't make any plays? And then you got the secondary. No more Thornhill. Delpit's been kind of blah. Newsom's been kind of blah. I love Emerson. He's been bad this year. I just see a lot of issues on defense. And that's why I look at next year saying, geez, Louise, we always focus on offense. This defense, to Jeffrey's point, I agree. A lot of resetting here.
That's why I'm not concerned with drafting a quarterback right away.
Okay.
But again, if you have 8 or 9 wins next year and you're the 19th pick of the 26th draft, we're so, gentlemen, we all love this franchise. We're so screwed. This franchise is in a lot of trouble. And
Jeffrey,
let's say you're 19th though, but here's the thing though. You're how many times are you going to knock your head off against the same thematic wall? If you're 19th or 20 in 26 and you didn't draft a guy in 25 and you trade a first to go and be getting the top 5 and draft somebody because you think you really like them in 26, or the talent in 26 is on the same level as 25, and now you're an extra year behind because you didn't draft someone in 25, albeit
Jeffrey, no, I don't like
I'm the doomsdayer guy, and trust me, I was, I'm like a roller coaster. I'm like, all right, we're back, now we're in trouble, but Barry has to be such a good drafter in 25 for 25 and 26 to not be a mess. What on the scale of likability is that going to happen? I give it like a 2 or a 3.
But excuse me, what makes you guys think that we have to draft a quarterback?
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I'm talking more about where's the hope.
What's the alternative?
No
What's the alternative, Robert? Sam Howell?
Jeffrey thinks we're going to stink forever.
Besides 2020, since 99. Well, last year we were cool too, but last year was a fluke. Put that out of your mind.
I agree. Robert, no hope for Jeffrey. Hope for Robert at the tavern. Or should we just get drunk?
Well, we have to drink a lot. Watching these guys, you got to drink a lot for sure. But here's the thing. Obviously, last year, the ball bounced our way. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But what you guys are overthinking is if we take Stefanski, let's look at him, look at his track record. If we could have a decent team, I mean, he doesn't need a number one top of the order quarterback to win. So I think if we have a solid, listen, boys.
So Cam Ward could get you there.
Oh, but you don't need to waste the first pick with. But listen, boys, and I don't want to get totally off track here, but let's do ourselves a favor. Do the mental math when we get off everybody watching at home, do the mental math. If Jameis Winston starts week 1, I'm willing to bet you guys $1 to a donut, we're not 3-9.
We're still on the outside looking in, though.
Oh, bullshit. The AFC's terrible.
What do we have? 5 wins, though? Where are we picking?
We got more than 5 wins.
Where are we
We're
picking up
6, 7 wins.
No.
Jameis is going to throw you 3 more wins.
No.
The Giants are terrible.
We couldn't even line up. We couldn't even get through a half without an illegal formation. Until
but that was because of the albatross of Deshaun. Where did it all go, Jeffrey?
It's because Andy Dickerson, like anybody who's in a new role, allegedly, who isn't Bill Callahan, took 8 or 9 weeks to figure out how to get guys aligned.
It's all because of the albatross of albatross. Thank you, Troy Aikman, of Deshaun Watson.
So we want to scapegoat him, but he wasn't everything. He was bad, but he wasn't everything.
Robert has some hope. Jeffrey has got no hope. I have a little hope. I kind of more lean towards Jeffrey here. I think it's a long road ahead. Cavs. We have 2 players.
Hold on. Excuse me.
I'm sorry.
Excuse me.
Robert, the floor is now yours.
Excuse me.
This is his one button. You were transitioning there. One button.
Before we transition, I think I'm much older than young Jeffrey here. All we have is hope.
It is a video podcast.
I agree.
All we have is hope.
Hope isn't a strategy, though, Uncle.
well, listen. Our other strategy is in Southern California with his analytic book. Okay,
drinking his non-alcoholic beers.
Yes.
Having a whatchamacallit, a tofu dog.
Yes. So to finish this up.
Nothing wrong with that.
To finish this up. My hope is in the continuity of Stefanski. Give me Stefanski, and I'll take my. But I agree. We're spending too much time worrying about the offense. Let's stop somebody.
The defense
okay?
has a lot of issues to check in on, and I'm telling you, that defensive tackle position has not been treated properly. That guy we drafted from Baylor, Ika, he sucked. He's gone. Mike Hall's had a really bad year for a rookie. I mean, got to start fixing this defense a little more. I think there's a little hope. I will tell you guys, you don't want to hear it. I think if you do want some big change and a crazy hope, not logical hope, crazy hope, fire Stefanski and you hope you get someone in there that can bring some energy. Stefanski's good. I like him. I don't know if I like his energy, to be truthful. I think you got to use a guy to get some zip in there, get some zippy one-liners like we just saw in that. Actually, no, I'm going to do one more before we get to the Cavs. Okay, I am going to transition now. I was really disappointed in Hard Knocks.
I haven't even watched it yet.
Robert, you have watched it, correct?
Yep.
I thought it was disappointing.
You thought it was disappointing as a Browns fan or overall?
Both.
The funny part about this, Andy, is like I said, currently in Western Pennsylvania, I get all the local. I get their fan out here, obviously driving around.
As you should, you're in Western PA. I get that. That's
I listen to some fan. I do a decent bit of driving in my profession, so all I hear is, and I'd like to just punch through the radio in the vehicle. Oh, all these guys on 93.7 The Fan, and it's probably true, which is why it bothers me. Tomlin is the best leader of men in this division. All right, that's all I needed to hear. I don't even need to watch the episode because Stefanski, like you said. Does every coach need to be like that? No. But do you really, really love it as a fan and a consumer of the brand when they are? I mean, who doesn't like Dan Campbell? Who doesn't like Tomlin? You respect him. You might not love him because he's your opponent, but I mean, come on. It's an intangible that is helpful.
It is bland. Cavs, they have 2 players that are going to be, I think, bantered about for trade possibilities. I'm going to lead off with this one. I would not trade Karis LeVert. He's one of them. Ty Jerome's interesting. Both these guys are in their last year of their contract. Karis first. I like Karis LeVert. He can win you a game 2 or 3 times a year. Miami on the road. He won a game in Boston a couple years ago. Won the game single-handedly. Was wonderful in that game. He has games where he can roll. He also plays really well under Kenny Atkinson. I would not trade Karis LeVert. I would take a deep pause and think about Ty Jerome. Jerome will be a carrot to some team that needs a spark, and he is a guy you can re-sign easily. And I think both can bring you a bench, not a starter. A bench wing, not a starter. A bench wing. I think Ty Jerome to the right team can do that. A big body wing who can play defense. That's my thoughts on both. Again, I love Ty Jerome. I don't think Ty Jerome's going to be here, truthfully, with the way the budget is and what's going on here. And that's what I see going ahead here for the Cavs and these 2 players. But I'm going to say it again. LeVert wins you games. Beware if you trade his ass away. Robert, Jeffrey, who wants to go first?
Jeffrey, Mr. Cav, go ahead.
So, LeVert, he's the person who's going to be traded first, in my opinion. I think that he's the hardest person to. My thing is, you have to look at it like this: who are you willing to go over the first and maybe into the second apron for? LeVert, I don't think is that guy. Jerome, he's going to be a little bit more affordable, but LeVert's contract is $15-16 million this year. I think you see LeVert and Niang get shopped. But if I had to make an assessment right now, gentlemen, December 5th, 2024, I don't think Altman is moving anybody from this roster. Me personally.
I actually concur with the last thought. I don't think they're going anywhere. I will say it again, though. I think if times get desperate and as the season goes on, someone's going to knock on that door. Hey, I can actually maybe trade Ty Jerome for this guy who's not really a big name but can play defense as a wing. That's going to be tempting. And I can see that trade. You throw in one of these other young guys, I can see that trade. Robert?
Oh, okay, so let me – I understand where Jeffrey's coming from, where he doesn't see Altman making a move because of the fact when you're 19-3, boys. How do you want to? You don't want to mess up the. So if you're 19-3, and today he trades George Niang and Karis LeVert, and we drop 4 of the next 5. He's a heel, right? You don't want to mess up the locker room. So I understand where Jeffrey's coming from, but here's the question that I have, and this is I don't know the answer. Does Kenny Atkinson carry any weight with Altman yet? Where Kenny goes to him and says, Kobe, I can't wait. I love the guys. It's a good outfit, good roster, but I need more. I can't win with them. Is Kenny that? We don't know Kenny well enough yet. Is Kenny that tough of a guy? Is Kenny going to be? Is he willing to shake up the great feeling in the locker room? Do we have any idea?
The way he talks, probably not. And I think he's actually okay with that. I think the Cavs are okay with that. I know there's going to probably be some disputes in this next question, but I'll go around to this question. Jeffrey, do the Cavs make the Eastern Conference Finals right now?
I think they could. I'm very hesitant, though, because you see us match up poorly against a team like Atlanta. People are going to think and I said it before the season, and yeah, it looks kind of stupid in hindsight, but I'll still stick to it. I think that a healthy 76ers team would give us a good series, and there's a long way to go. If Embiid and Paul George and Max are healthy, which is kind of a long shot, but right. I'm just saying at full health, I think they give us struggle. I think the Magic give us a good series.
Magic, I agree with you about.
I think us and Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals is extremely plausible. So I'll answer. It's a mixed bag right now. Robert, to your point though, Atkinson, he's a LeVert guy. Coached him in Brooklyn.
He is a total LeVert guy.
He's not doing that even if he has the pull and the weight. Jerome is a Donovan Mitchell guy. I mean, everybody made fun of me for this take last offseason, but your last offseason was all right. Let's just make Donovan not the even not this offseason, the previous offseason, just to make Donovan happy offseason. Ty Jerome played with him in AAU ball. George Niang played with him in Utah. Like that was Donovan Mitchell's the general manager at this current moment. A little bit more than people want to lead on.
I don't agree with that. Robert,
I don't know if he's good enough to be that guy. He's a good NBA player. He's a top 15 player, but he has like 10 to 15 fringe player.
Okay.
Yes, Andy, Donovan said, don't break this roster up this offseason. Absolutely.
So excuse me. So if that is true, and I probably don't disagree, but if LeVert is an Atkinson guy and Jerome is, because Jerome and Mitchell grew up together, played AAU, Jeffrey, is that going to hold any weight at the end of the year when it's contract signing time?
It depends. It depends.
Don't you think somebody's going to come to Ty Jerome with a bag of money?
Yeah, it could be us to go into an apron. If you make the Eastern Conference Finals and he plays a big role.
I think the guy who calls the shots is the guy named Dan Gilbert. And now Dan Gilbert's not been as upfront as he has been in the past for obvious health reasons. But I still think at the end of the day, it's a Gilbert show. And if Gilbert wants to do something, Gilbert's going to do it.
Well, I think we all could agree he's the best owner in the city of Cleveland.
He really is. He really is. I understand what Jeffrey is saying with the Mitchell comment. I think Mitchell's got a lot of pull. I don't think Mitchell's the GM, though. I think that's too strong. I think Gilbert still runs the show. I really do. I think it's Gilbert's show. All right. I think they make the Eastern Conference Finals. Robert, do they make the Eastern Conference Finals right now?
As the roster is constructed now, no.
Wow.
Well, but here's the thing. I don't have faith that Wade is going to play. Can I count on LeVert for 7 games?
Oh, sure.
Is Merrill going to? I mean, that's the thing. If I can count on these guys, and let me tell you something. We saw Atlanta figure us out, okay?
They played well in 2 games.
They played well against us. I'm going to tell you something right now. The Orlando Magic, and maybe not a lot of people understand about the Orlando Magic because they don't, maybe if they're a casual NBA fan, we're going to have a hell of a time. How are we going to guard Paolo Banchero for 48 minutes?
I think the Magic's a far too.
What are you going to do? What's your plan, Jeffrey?
I think the Hawks are just hot. They're going
Wagner, Banchero, Wendell Carter, Jonathan Isaac. I mean, their size is staggering for us because
they play defense.
Yes, they have a young head coach. They have young superstars. That's the perfect storm for them. I think they're a sleeper out of the Eastern Conference. Andy, you're the guys is one of your last programs. The Jarrett Allen disappearing act?
He did.
It's there. It's there. And what kills me too is, and here's the thing, my mind is I'm a little boggled up right here, because I think New York gives us similar problems. I think that Orlando gives us more problems.
Knicks are done.
Mitchell Robinson healthy, but who's guarding Bridges? Bridges 6'7", 6'8" wing.
No, I disagree about the Knicks. The Knicks will start to figure it out.
Correct. And Evan Mobley, your issue defensively is Evan Mobley can't guard everybody. He can't guard. So Karl Anthony Towns is bringing people out to the perimeter. He can't guard Towns, Bridges, and out rebound Robinson all in one go.
Allen's going to have to take Towns, and that's a task.
How do you feel about Allen in the postseason? Is my question.
Scared.
Me too.
He's going to have to step up.
Me too.
But he hasn't shown us that he can.
So
He's Sharman. He's SAWFT in the postseason.
You guys have a lot of belief in Stefanski, and I applaud that. I'm that way with Atkinson. I think Atkinson's going to awaken Allen at some point. And I think Allen's going to waken up. It has not happened. And that Friday game was disappointing from Allen. He did his famous
Andy.
Here, I'm not going to rebound. And
Andy.
Like 20 minutes now.
Isaiah Hartenstein kicked his ass.
Yes, he did.
His bruised rib, we didn't even see him.
Yes, he was gone.
And let me hold on. The Knicks right now are a little bit in shambles, but they will get it together. Okay, I think that ship
a lot of maneuvering too. They're growing pains.
A lot of maneuvering. He broke up that Villanova crew. They're pissed off. They will get it together. I think they'll get it together, and you better look out.
This year, they're fucked. They don't.
But listen, ultimately, the Thibodeau team always runs out of gas.
Will Brunson at the end of the year will be on one leg. I'm not joking.
They run out of gas because he runs them into the ground.
Coach Hart's playing 40 minutes a game.
Right.
At some point, the dude's going to pass out.
Yep.
It's just not physically possible. Not.
Go ahead, Jeff.
My thing is, though, Brunson always plays Donovan Mitchell good in the playoffs.
He's not going to, but again,
played him good in the Western Conference.
Look at his minutes. Look at what he's doing already.
I wouldn't want to see New York. I wouldn't want to see New York in a match.
Agreed.
I wouldn't want to see them. I'd rather see almost everybody else. I think the Magic in them are my top two biggest, obviously outside of Boston, obviously.
Right.
But hopefully you don't play Boston in the first round. This is what we're surmising here. Yeah. My thing is, and here's the thing. I'm going to break it down into a couple of categories here really quickly because I see people online and people beat me up about, Jonas Valanciunas is going to be on the trade block. And I say, we should try to give him in a Cavalier uniform. People beat me up for that after he was physical guy and just,
he is a very physical guy.
That's what you need on this roster. You need a bruiser in the playoffs.
I don't know how they're going to do that with the Houdini trade, but okay.
Here's my tiers of concern with this roster. And it was in the offseason running back to core four. There's only one basketball. People go, well, we need to get Allen touches to get him involved. Factually, 100% correct. Why would you give him touches over Evan Mobley? Why would you give him touches over Darius Garland? Why would you give him touches over Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell? Why would you give him touches over Ty Jerome the past 10 days? That's my biggest thing. All these guys we don't have these flow state guys who could be complementary pieces without any sort of, hey, Kenny has to draw up a play for you. Mobley needs to be involved. Darius needs to be in rhythm. Jared Allen's the same way. Donovan's the only guy where he could be like 0 for 8 and then he makes 5 threes in a row and it's business time. Secondarily, not in the playoffs though. Not in the playoffs.
I think that's I think Atkinson's done. I see different Garland. There was no more negative Nancy on Garland. I didn't understand Garland last few years.
We'll see.
Crazy. He looks different.
He's another guy, though, Andy, where you're talking about Brunson being on one leg. If he has a couple injuries leading into the postseason, what's the performance look like?
But he looks bigger. He actually is playing tougher. Last year, here's an example. What happened against Washington, Garland's out 2 weeks. He's already bounced back. He's playing tonight against the Nuggets. That's a good sign. I'm seeing things that Garland's I actually think Garland's changed. I hope the same thing's going to happen. I do believe that with Jared Allen. You made a good point with there's only one basketball. I think Atkinson will pull the strings. I just believe in Kenny Atkinson. I like what he does.
That's fair.
I like how this team flows. I think this team has a lot of ability to go far. I think Ty Jerome might be a flame out. I think that was a hot period. I really need to see Ty Jerome do it again. That's my only thing about Ty Jerome. And I like the kid a lot. Ty's a tornado. My God. He does things defensively and offensively. That's wonderful.
Even if he doesn't play that well, though, I've likened him to the Rubio effect. You need somebody off the bench where it's not like Garland's the point guard, then Donovan's the point guard. I hate that. And even if it works, I hate when they do it with the bigs too. Oh, Allen's going to play the 5, then Mobley's going to play the 5. This is not how rosters should be constructed. And then what? Dean Wade's hurt. Niang isn't playing very well.
Right. Mobley's
banged up, and Allen, is a playoff shrinker. And then what do you do at the 4 and 5 position in the playoffs?
Right. We haven't talked about at all because he hasn't been there. What do you guys feel when Max Strus comes back? Do you feel that, out of sight, out of mind, how do you guys think he fits in to this Atkinson lineup? And obviously you think that he would have been a starter right away, right? If he was healthy.
Watching Strus last year, I think he's going to actually embrace it. I thought Strus ran out of gas last year. But my question, does Strus take a trade off the table? But he can't. Defensively, he's not a great defender, right? He's a glue guy. He's a guy in certain situations that can. He's a very good passer when he has the ball in his hand. And again, I thought last year Strus was forced to shoot more than he wanted to. That's not a problem here. Kenny Atkinson has an offense where he's going to be able to facilitate the ball and do different things. He's also a grinder. He's a Beto Okoro, in my opinion. And that's why I think Strus will fit in nicely here. I don't think Strus will have to have all this attention to ball, and that's not his game. I thought last year we kind of used Strus way too much. I think I got burnt out by the Celtics series. I really did. I saw a guy who just looked tired. I think he's going to embrace this being like more of like a facilitator. I think that's what he's supposed to be anyways.
But he's really a shooting guard, right? Playing a 3?
He is, but Jeffrey, I'll let you.
How many guys on the roster are like that? Well, who is a true 3 on this roster?
Oh, well, that's a different story. We don't have one.
We don't have one. We don't have it.
Amani Bates, but he's not good enough.
Amani Bates isn't very good, and I like Amani Bates a lot. I like that selection. One of my favorite moves that Altman has done.
I'm just dreaming
but
of
correct. Strus is a 2. When Miami was in the finals, he wasn't playing the 3. He was playing the 2. Butler was playing the 3.
What was Okoro? Was he a 2 when we drafted him, or 3?
Okoro is a big 2.
Yeah, that's mislabeled by I don't know.
So Levert, Okoro,
6'5", all 6'5". They're all 6'4", 6'5".
Dean Wade is a true wing, but we all know he's brittle and he can only do so much.
Dean Wade, but he plays the 4. Dean Wade is the only 3 on this roster,
and he plays the 4.
No, when he was starting, no,
when he was starting, yeah.
That's my thing. In a perfect world, gentlemen, Garland at the 1. Donovan at the 2, Dean Wade, who's healthy and doesn't have the yips because he's been out for 2 weeks, at the 3, Mobley, Allen. Your first 3 off the bench to me. Your first 4 off the bench to me. Jerome, Strus, Levert, backup big. That's it. I don't need Merrill. Merrill's nice. I like Merrill. I don't need Merrill. I don't want to hear about JT Thor, Tristan Thompson, keeping up with the Kardashians season 15.
But who's your backup big?
I just said backup big. He's not on the roster. I left a spot open for him. Valanciunas, somebody like that. I would like to. He's going to be expensive, but like a Steven Adams, like what you saw Hartenstein and company do to us a couple years ago in the
Knicks. You don't think the Cavs can do a Mobley Green situation back from the Warriors where they're playing a bunch of shooters with Mobley playing the 5? I think they can.
That's interesting. What are you moving Allen for a shooter though? Are you moving Allen?
Again, in key situations, I'm here to win. In key situations, the Warriors would put situations where they had Iguodala play the 5.
And that's what Atkinson's doing with his offense.
I think when you put Mobley at the 5 and you go in there with that mentality and you go to Draymond Green-esque type situations, I think Cavs are very tough.
They're tough.
I don't think they're moving. I don't think they're going to move Allen, though.
No, they're not going to move Allen. But I think there's going to be a road. Road A is Allen does figure it out. It starts to become more of a blossoming situation. If it's revert to Allen where he has good games and he disappears, then you're going to see less of Allen late in games. And I'm okay with that. And by the way, there's part of me that thinks Allen might be okay with that.
Me too. Yeah.
Honestly.
Real quick, let me say something. The other night when we played Washington, Washington had very little of any offense, except they would. But here's the thing: they would get Valanciunas the ball, and we couldn't stop him.
Good player. He
would score, and then they wouldn't go back to him. So I'm sitting there, I'm watching the game with my wife, who, bless her heart, she doesn't know basketball, and I'm thinking to myself, these guys are dumb. Right? And you can see Valanciunas. You can see he really doesn't give a shit. But like we didn't have an answer, okay? And Allen did. I will say he had a couple of nice hooks against him, but Washington had no plan, and they could have kept going down to him. But
he played 19 minutes and he had 13 points and 11 rebounds.
Guys, of course.
We had no answer, and they stopped giving him the ball.
Well, I think Adam Keefe's a wonderful coach.
And honestly, that's an interesting conversation there, Uncle, because the day of recording, we're going to see how Jokic gets handled tonight. Jokic could hang some crooked ass numbers on this defense if Allen is matched up on him and having a soft moment. Like I'm thinking like 35, 15, and 15.
What Allen? Why don't they put Mobley on him?
Mobley isn't going to have to guard somebody. That's my thing. Who is Mobley guard in a playoff series against a good team with two good bigs or even good
Gordon's out? Isn't Gordon out?
But you think Mobley's going to be able to match up with the physicality of Jokic either?
Well, I actually think
small.
Jokic is just one of those unique players.
Oh, for sure.
Here's the thing I'll say about the Nuggets. The Cavs blew them out 2 years ago.
They played.
I think I noticed in that game is the other players around Jokic. When Jokic is going off, which he does, if you control Murray and you put out the fires everywhere else, Nuggets just kind of tire out. Yep. They kind of just tucker out. That's the thing there. Like, Jokic is just that guy. I saw my dad and I saw Jokic play last year in person, and we both said the same thing. I'm like, my God, there's a reason why this guy wins MVP every year. He's very, very good. Okay. Like, I actually would argue you can maybe stop Giannis. I don't know what to say about Jokic. Because of his dribbling and shooting, it's just so unique. I don't know how to compare it to really anything else I've seen. Dirk Nowitzki in a different way. Like, Dirk was so hard to control because he was so big and tall and lanky, and he did things. And Jokic is very different with his size, but God, he's good. So unique.
I'd take my chances with Mobley. I think I don't know. He may get pushed around, but I'd put.
The key is Murray. Don't let him go off. Don't let other Nuggets go off because Jokic tends to get frustrated when that happens, and then the Nuggets shut down, and then they go away. And
give Jokic his 50. Don't let anyone else beat you.
Don't let anybody else, because what happened last year, the Cavs didn't beat the Nuggets last year. Murray went off, and once Murray goes off, it's trouble. It's just absolute trouble, and then you really are stuck. Jokic, yes, and Jeffrey's right. Robert's right. I'm right. I don't know what you do there. But if you slow down everything else, it will be okay. All right, so we all concur the Cavs won the championship. Very good. All right, next segment. Last and very, very quickly. In 1 minute, should the Guardians sign Naylor to a long-term deal? Robert?
No.
And use your minute wisely.
Yeah, I was all about it yesterday, and now
tough call. This is not an easy call. It's not an easy call. I will help him as he thinks. I think we should re-sign Naylor, and here's why. We don't get many guys in this organization the last 5 years who hit 30 home runs and 100 RBIs because we don't have anybody else except for Jay Ram who does that. So because of that, I would bring Josh Naylor back. I know Manzardo's good. Yay. But why can't we have multiple guys like that?
But here's why I say no real quick, because I think we have him this year, right?
He's us. He's untouchable. And if we don't re-sign him, he will be gone. I guarantee.
But I think maybe trade him now while you can.
That's the discussion that's going on in Dallas, which I'll be heading to on Saturday. Jeffrey, your thoughts? Naylor.
What are you thinking long term? Like 5 years, 250 or more?
Oh my God!
Not 250. This is Cleveland.
He already weighs 275.
You think the Dodgers or the Yankees might give him something like that?
Well, but here's the hook. So you guys aren't thinking. Ready?
I would go there. We won't, but we should.
His brother's on the team.
They don't care about that.
No. I didn't say the team.
Oh.
I'm talking about Josh Naylor.
Oh, maybe hometown discount.
I'm just going to give you some insight to what I can tell from afar and being around this family a little bit, which they didn't know. I was a fly on the wall observing them. It means a lot to Josh and Bo, in my opinion. They're playing together, and it certainly matters to the females in their life. In my opinion, I think Josh coming back to Cleveland has kind of the same tone that J-Ram has in a different way. So I think he likes playing with his brother. I think he enjoys that whole thing. I don't think it's crazy to say, you know what, give me a discount so I can come back because I like being here. I like that my girlfriend and my fiance, Bo's fiance, and Bo's here. I think all that plays a part, not for the Dolans, for the Nailers.
Maybe 50 was a little too boisterous, but I mean his arbitration number on a quick Google search is at 25 is 12 million. So
Yeah,
what? Let's say a premium team pays what? Maybe they want to give him 20, 5 years, 100
That's what I
million.
was thinking. That's what I was thinking.
I think the Yankees would do that very easily, very simply.
Of course. I just think, like J Ram, there's an emotional tie to maybe that he will give a discount. Now, if he does not give a discount, he's gone. I mean, I can't say anything more than that.
How old is he? 27?
It's not a top priority for us.
How old is he? 27?
I don't know if I agree with Jeffrey's comment. I think I got to look at his age. Jeffrey, I think that kid can play. I think he's a winner. I know in the playoffs he didn't do a lot as we want him to. I love his enthusiasm and his energy. I do really like him here in Cleveland.
I'm trying to infuse my thoughts though with the front office. They're going to be like starting pitching isn't good.
No. And by the way, you're right. So on that comment there, they have to get a starter pitching in here somewhere, right? Right.
I'd rather pay, and this might be controversial. I'd rather overpay Bieber than pay Naylor what he's worth.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
Bieber, I think you win the Yankee series with a healthy Bieber this year.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Guys done in game 2 years ago.
Naylor hitting 4 or 5 bombs. They would have came up and they were hitting bombs anyway. We needed him to hit like 9 home runs in that series to have a chance.
I don't agree with that assessment. I think if Naylor
starts from Bieber.
I think Naylor in this lineup actually helped infuse other hitters that hit well.
That's true.
Once you take Naylor out of this lineup, I think the lineup gets a lot compressed. I hear you, but it's going to get compressed.
It's a tough one.
It's tough. And that's why he's being discussed about being traded. Last thought, Thomas, stay or go? Robert, do you think he stays or do you think he goes?
Listen, when we got him, it was underwhelming. I was like, Lane Thomas. But he had a good second half. And he was really good in the playoffs for us. You know what I'm saying? I'd say, listen, I wouldn't be upset if Antonetti moved on because you can't listen. Antonetti, I think, is a hell of a GM. They've done a great job. So I can't knock anything that the guy's done. I would, but listen, you move on from him. But the problem is, Sheeman, I don't know. John Kenzie, I don't know. Angel Martinez, I don't know. How many other guys have we ran through the Miles Straw? Boys, we can't send Miles Straw, but we can't.
Oh, he's in AAA Siberia. You're never going to see him.
I mean, we can't. So, but is Lane Thomas the answer? He's fast.
He's a good player. He's a good player.
I'd be more upset losing him than I was when we didn't re-sign Boyd. Not that that's saying a whole lot.
But Thomas in game 1 and game 5 took care
clutch.
Kitty cats.
Clutch. Clutch hitting has escaped this franchise in the postseason for a while.
Yeah.
And really in super big spots. Here's my thing. I think the front office really quickly needs to just change their whole approach. Every year they come out articles, top 50 minor league, farm league prospects. Half the lists are Cleveland guys. You've never been able to develop them at the highest level. And I know you're going to have turnover, whatever may happen. We have a different hitting coach or he went to Cincinnati with Tito. That could play a big factor. Trade your farm guys for MLB ready players. What you've tried everything the opposite way. And like Robert is saying, what prospect has come up? And I know it's difficult. Jose, the first couple of times, if you remember when he came up from the minor leagues, looked like he couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, but you don't have time. Like you don't have the luxury of time right now with it. And I guess I could be wrong saying that because you've been relevant for the past 15 years because Antonetti is good at what he does, but trade the prospects for MLB ready players and hope they put on a Guardians uniform and hit the ball in the postseason.
Not crazy.
Okay, real quick, Jeffrey, here's the thing. Boyd, I wasn't upset about. His career record wasn't great. He was serviceable.
We could find another one.
Yeah,
right. We could find another one.
I agree with that assessment.
Now, here's the thing. What you're saying about the prospects, we've got that this kid Chase DeLauder, who's our number 2 prospect. So either put him in the outfield now, and go through the growing pains and play the bastard, or trade him, package him, and like Jeffrey's saying, because all we do is how many trades are prospects for major league, and then these prospects never work out. We could do 3 shows about prospects that never panned out in Major League Baseball.
There's 2 that have Josh Naylor and Clase that were made on trades where they got the goods. Kluber for Clase, wonderful trade.
That wasn't our farm system, though. I hear you, but that wasn't us.
But that's kind of what Jeffrey's talking about. So you're making a trade for a guy who's close. Naylor was close. They made the right trade. They got sunshine out. They brought someone else in. I do think part of that here. I like Schneemann. I know he stunk at the end of the season. I think the kick and play. I like the Valore idea. I kind of think.
Yeah, but where does Schneemann play? He's an infielder who we moved in the outfield.
He plays everywhere. That's like the Guardians thing. And I'm teasing, but I'm actually being serious. He kind of plays everywhere. Doesn't really have a position. I think Lane Thomas is. I guess I'm going to be a realist. Probably one of those guys won't be here. I really hope they re-sign Naylor. I think Naylor being here would be nice. I really like him in the lineup. He does a lot more than what people think. I'll leave it there.
And I mean, Rocchio's obviously playing shortstop.
Just can't catch the ball in the big inning, but other than that, he's good. I'm teasing Rocchio. Teasing. I like you. You had a home run in the Bronx. You had a big home run in the Dodgers series. I like you. I like Rocchio a lot. I do. Big bat.
And listen, you got, I mean, how many, do you like Will Brennan?
How do you know? You don't know.
Right.
Oh, I do. I
don't love him.
He's a good bench guy.
I mean, how many, who else do you have out there? How many, you know what I'm saying? Who else do you have? John Kenzie,
Noel Schneemann,
Noel
Brennan.
is a mystery. I don't know if he's going to be big or not. I don't.
I mean, how about the most recent example of absolute mind-boggling conundrums? Big game, somehow big spot Oscar Gonzalez, and then he's unemployed 6 months later.
Yeah.
Like, it's the same story with all of these guys.
Famil Reyes. There's other examples.
Oh, God. Lamole. Don't get me started about that fraud. Could hit the ball 500 yards, but he never made contact.
Noel and Reyes, similarities. I don't know. That's why I'm saying, like, I just don't know. Like, I got to score Noel. But I think I know Schneemann enough where I could see him growing. Rocchio's your shortstop. Done. Check. You have, and then there's Andres Jimenez, who can glove, frankly. He's one of the best in the game.
Real quick, Andy, there's about 10, not exaggerating, of our outfield prospects that are scattered around the major leagues, from Jake Bowers, Richie Palacios. There's none of them. I mean, they're in the major leagues, but none of them are really haunting us. I mean,
Yandy Diaz is the only one.
Yandy Diaz and that other kid, the third baseman.
He went to New York.
The third baseman was actually pretty good. He made it for
what was his name? Killing me with his name.
Urshela?
Giovanni Urshela.
Yep.
He ended up being not a Hall of Famer, but a decent player.
Funnily enough.
But he's a good player. He played last year. So Urshela and Yandy Diaz. I talked to Jensen Lewis after the season once. And when I saw Urshela wasn't coming back, I was like, why? He goes, I don't know. And away he went. His career just, well, I think we figured out a lot here today. Jeffrey thinks there's no hope with the Browns. I think there's a lot of hope with the Cavs. Robert wants to trade everybody, I think, at some point or another. I think.
Yeah.
Chalk Talk. Just click on like. Please hit like. Please go into the Fairview Tavern and then go to Western PA and to look for a handsome man with big thick lettuce.
Appreciate it.
It's gonna tell you why the Cavs need a small forward. He's not wrong.
Check out the Cleveland Pulse too. He's got a lot to say.
Cleveland Pulse, and then there's some insane man on Instagram, official Cleveland Sports. Goodbye.
Have a good day, everybody.